All right, so this is week 9. We're trying to get video up again. I'm currently recording my end of the video here. We're gonna see if I can get this synced up with our voices. We made a few changes in our recording methods, and hopefully this comes across a little bit better. Each week, I think it's going a little bit more smoothly until eventually we got it all down and quality goes up. So the big thing happening this week was Mr. Paul Ryan failing
Trumpcare.
and Trumpcare. Trumpcare is, for all intents and purposes, it looks like it is dead right now.
So much for ruining. You only had 7 years to figure this out, and now the president who ran his campaign on "I'm going to on like an hour" is like, just keep Obama. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Well, let's talk about what happened to it before we get into all of that. So basically, as soon as Trump became president, they were talking about, or Paul Ryan was saying how this is the first thing that they want to be doing, and he
ask
didn't really
Obama how that goes.
Exactly. So he comes out, they release basically what it is. Everyone hates it. Democrats obviously hate it because they're the new Tea Party. They're going to hate everything. But Republicans hate this as well. And there's a lot of different reasons why they hate it. We'll get into it because I personally think that Republicans are dead wrong all the way across the board on this. I think that they couldn't. Yeah, you're going to hear a conservative just going at the Republican Party on this because I think that they are dumb as fuck. Kind of going back to what we did the last time we were talking about the
I agree with the governor.
As long as there's a lockbox. Oh, but so basically, and I'm putting most of the blame of this on Paul Ryan. I mean, he knew this wasn't going to work, and I've heard their explanation of why they had to do it this way is because if they try to put too much in the bill, then it opens it up to it's got to be a 2/3 majority to pass it, which
so
they wouldn't have.
It's kind of one of those things where you have to pass it to see what's in it.
No, totally different. We knew what was in it. That was the issue.
We're gonna do 3 parts. We'll show you part 1 now. So let's just get this rolling, and then we'll sneak parts 2 and 3 in.
Well, you can't say that because you don't know if they were going to sneak it or not. I mean,
well,
it
now
probably
we'll
would have
never know.
Right. It probably would have been better for them if they did do it in the Democratic fashion where they did just say, trust us, it's good. And then Republicans go, yeah, okay. And then passed it and then find out that everything's bad in it. Here's the issue I have with okay, well, let's finish talking about what happened then. Then basically Trump stepped in and was like, I'm going to get them to pass this. Watch this. He shows up and he's like, you better pass it. And they tell him no. And he goes, oh. So then they basically had the vote scheduled for Thursday. It's looking like it's not going to pass. So they delay it for a day. Trump comes in and he says, no more delay. We're doing it. We're going to pass it or we won't. Take the vote. So it looks like it's going into a vote Friday. Paul Ryan walks into a meeting with him, says, I don't have the votes. It's not going to happen. And there it's dead. And then liberal media exploded with, oh, it's another failure. Look at this. Oh, it is a failure. Well, it's not. I wouldn't say another. That makes it sound like there's been failure after failure. And
there has been failure after failure. You won't admit it, but there has been.
There has been.
Travel ban has failed, I think, 2 or 3 times now.
Well, that one we've gone into before where it has nothing to do with the bill itself. That has to do everything with just the opposition of the judges. They're not doing their jobs. This past judge, on Thursday,
you can argue that
they're not.
I'm sure
that was his argument.
Putin and Stalin and Hitler would probably argue that the judicial system is working against them as well. So that's fine.
Brandon, 2017, Russia. No, Putin and everything has nothing to do with this whatsoever.
You know you're going to eat shit in 2 weeks when all this comes out and you have to apologize not only to me, but to the audience who you called stupid for thinking that something possibly could be awry.
Well, like I said, if something comes up with Russia, then I'll address it at the time. Right now, there is nothing that it's pointing
Lots
towards
of stuff
Russia
is coming out about Russia, but Republicans don't want to have that. But we'll save that for a segment 2.
Yeah. We'll see on that. But yeah, this was a failure, and I think that the main thing to take from this failure, popping that top, is that Republicans, first off, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. I don't inherently think that it was government's job or the role of government to provide health care. However, having said that, I think that once Obamacare was passed and 7 million of the poorest people got covered, that's not going anywhere. You cannot get rid of it. So the Republicans that are saying, we just need to repeal it, don't replace it, just repeal it. If it's anything less than repeal, I won't sign on for it. You are basically killing 7 million of the poorest people. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
So there are Republicans who are smart who know that and say, well, we need to replace it in some form or fashion. And that's where we've got the split. This wasn't a...
Those smart Republicans had 7 years to draft a bill. What happened?
Right. Well, there was exactly. They dropped the ball on that. They tried. How much money did they waste trying to repeal it? It wasn't going to happen. They knew it wasn't going to happen. It was like 39 times or something stupid.
Right. Something dumb just because they knew that they could, or they thought they could make Barack Obama look bad for vetoing the repeal of it. It didn't make him look bad because the people that like Obamacare and like Obama don't like Republicans trying to repeal it. So it doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't do anything. And the fact of the matter is that this is something that we're going to have to do. And I keep seeing, so the problem right now is that Republicans are split. There's Republicans who just want this to go away. They don't think that this is how, the government should be doing. And there's the other side that says, well, we need to do it this way. And that was the Paul Ryan way, which is fucking stupid too. No one's fixing the problem. And the thing that irritated me is I kept looking at all these liberal sites and they were like, we did it, resist, we won. It's like, you didn't win. Republicans failed.
Right.
They didn't come together.
Yeah,
like if they would have come together, then they would have been able to pass this. They just can't agree on if this is something good or something bad. And I think that...
Well, their jobs rely on it. And at the end of the day... that's all that matters to any congressman. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. The bottom line is, am I going to get reelected? And if I told my my constituents in Obamacare hating Oklahoma that
goddamn Oklahomans, it always goes back to them.
Oklahoma, where our water fountains are called toilets. So anyway,
that's
my
weird,
point
man.
Though is that like those guys are gonna lose their jobs off of it. They'll get voted out.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. How did Republicans not have something in mind for the day that Republicans? It didn't matter if Donald Trump won this election.
7 years.
If Donald Trump didn't win this election, there should have been something in place for the next Republican to take power. It doesn't make any sense that they dicked around for 7 years and didn't have anything ready.
I think it's because the majority of Republicans didn't want to replace it. So I think that you're getting a little bit of infight from Republicans who are smart enough to realize that maybe killing 7 million of the poorest people, and it's not killing, but you know what I'm saying. If you take away
if you like your life, you can keep it.
Right. Most people would say, yes, I would like to keep it. So, that's a bad look. But for whatever reason, Republicans have it to where we need to repeal it. We need to get rid of it. And we just have to accept that, listen, we are the only first world country that doesn't offer universal health care coverage for our citizens. I understand that it's not maybe the inherent role of government, but it is now in the 21st century. We've done it. We need to own it, and we need to do it right. There's a way to do this. We can actually get it done. We just need to do it that way. And like I said earlier when we had the last segment, I think the way to do it is you have to, I mean, Democrats would love me on this issue because I say bring back the mandate and don't have any type of cop-out. Don't let them opt out of it. You have to pay for this because it falls apart if we don't.
I don't know that Democrats would love you any more than they would love me for saying just do public option, dude. Like just do public option. Make the private sector compete with the federal government, and then watch prices fall.
Right. Well, yeah. It depends on how they set it up and everything. I think that would be a viable option. I still think that there's, even with that in place, if you don't tell young people, you have to buy it. Like, sorry, but you're going to have to pay for everyone else. Eventually, it's like car insurance. We all don't use it, but we love it when we have it. We know we're going to need health insurance. It's not like we're not going to get old and die. Everyone does that.
Yeah, if you want to repeal something, repeal the goddamn car insurance mandate.
I'm sure people didn't like that either, but guess what? It works.
Right.
And everything's is and I don't claim to know the nuances of car insurance. I sold car warranties, not insurance.
Right.
New World Order's coming in on our shit.
That did pick up. Damn it. That's a bummer.
I heard it with my ears.
Oh,
yeah, but I
bummer.
think that. So here's the thing with healthcare. I don't think that we're, and I think Donald Trump's right for saying fuck it. I really do, because Republicans don't know what they want to do. And I think that I don't know what the fuck they were doing trying to make this the first thing that they were doing to begin with, because
they didn't learn. They didn't learn from the hell that they put Democrats through for 8 years. That like, oh, maybe like I bet if there was one thing Barack Obama could redo, like if he could go back and pick, it would be make healthcare a later battle, because all it did was set him up for 7 years of shit talking. And if he would have done it at the 4 or 5 year mark, it wouldn't have mattered whatsoever to him, as far as politically speaking. As far as re-election goes, and it wouldn't. There wouldn't be a almost decade of shit being thrown at it. Like it would have been 3 years, and then he would have been out, and then it would have been the next guy's problem. I just think that if they learned anything from their green eggs and ham reading across the in the goddamn Congress, that what they should have learned is don't make this our first priority. But they did, which made a bunch of liberals out there get boners, because we knew this was going to fall. We knew it was going to fall in their face. And guess what? If it had passed, it's not Obamacare.
It still would have been bad.
It's not Obamacare now.
Trumpcare.
It's Trumpcare. And now that it's failed, Trumpcare failed.
Right.
So that's the failure.
And I'm fine with it, because I didn't like that bill. I didn't think it was a good bill to begin with. I'm glad that if he's being truthful and that he's going to push other priorities and say, listen, we tried whatever, let's get out of it. I don't think either party right now has the answer. So even if, let's say, a Democrat wins election in 3
Mitch
years,
McConnell
4
of
years.
you.
Well, I'm just being honest, man. Even if a Democrat wins, you guys realize that then it's going to be your job to do it again. Mm-hmm. And Obamacare is failing. It will not work.
Oh, yeah.
So unless they come up with another solution, you're going to see the same thing. And then Republicans are going to be all like, oh, we won. No, you didn't.
Right. I won't defend the Affordable Care Act. I don't think it's a good bill. I've explained before how I fall into a weird group of people that fall kind of through the cracks where I don't.
Right.
It cost me more to pay the premium than it costs to take the fine, and as a result, I'm paying for somebody else's health care because I'm still not covered. I'm taking the fine. So like you know, that Obamacare was not the fix-all. Now had they not just put public option on the table just to take it off the table as a compromise, Obamacare could have been much better. Public option, I think, is a viable solution. But I think
I don't think it's a solution. I think that it's a nice add-on. I don't think that it's going to fix the problem.
Right. I mean, I don't. Right. That's fair. No, the only thing that's going to fix the problem is, hey, insurance companies who wrote the damn bill, maybe they should have to reform their industry, because if it wasn't for insurance companies, healthcare wouldn't be the shit show that it is, and we wouldn't have to constantly fight administration after administration on how do we fix this, because we've given.
Plus, they don't even collect your bills. Like if you have outstanding medical debt, they're like, oh, well, your credit sucks now, so now life's harder for you. Which is just going to increase the likelihood that you're not paying these bills, because everything else you have to do.
Yeah,
no one collects your money. Like, no one's going to come after you. They might put it to collections, and you'll get a fucking phone call that you ignore.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to fix. There's so much more that they have to fix.
The system is only set up to create debt, and
yeah.
And then the credit system itself, which is a whole nother thing that you just touched on, is only set up to create debt and interest. Like, interest is not real money. If you start with $100, you don't ever get to $150. Like, you take some shit away from that and you put it back, you're still only getting to $100. Interest is invisible fake money. I'm not going to go off on a credit tangent. That's all I got.
Because that's a long. What do you call it? Way back in the old days, that's what started the Muslim and the Judaism infighting. Is Muslims saw taxing as a sin, and Jews did a lot with the lending they did.
See,
they had
Republicans, you have more in common with Muslims than you even knew.
And Jesus hated the taxes. We all know that one. But yeah, again, interest in everything is fine by me if it's done right. But basically, when it comes to this bill, I'm glad they're getting off it. I don't think this is getting fixed any damn time soon.
What's unfortunate to me is I might be the only liberal out there that'll tell you I like Paul Ryan, and even through this fight, I don't know. I think he got set up to fall. I think he got set up to fail on this. But
I'm not sure.
Come on, like you.
I put a lot of blame on Paul Ryan,
so he's gonna be screwed, right? Like he has to be the one. He has to be the one that's at the forefront of it. So no matter what, he's gonna take the fall. It's kind of like Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer is the face of the White House, and you have just fucked your entire career by taking that job. Right. You look like an idiot, and you're speaking on behalf of an idiot. So.
Right. Well, that's why so many of them quit under Obama. He had 6 speakers or whatever because they were just
wasn't it? It
press
was
guys because he was just like,
2.
I don't want to deal with it. No, it wasn't. There was
it was.
There was Carney, and then there was Jay Carney. I can't remember. There was a ton of them.
Carney was the most recent one, but there was wasn't it just Carney and Axelrod?
No, Axelrod was never the.
No, he was the campaign guy. Who the shit was the first guy? I can't remember.
There was a bunch of them. I remember because one guy didn't even make it very long. But yeah, so that's always a fall position. Like you're always going to take the brunt of that.
Anytime you're the speaker, ask John Boehner.
Yeah, we got tired of it because of the Tea Party, and I think that you might hopefully.
There's a reason that we hate people like John Boehner and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell because we know their names. That's it. We know their names because they're the speakers. Like that.
Well, they also do dumb shit like Chuck Schumer, where he's just like, after Neil Gorsuch, I can't vote for him. It's like, you're fucking stupid. You're just mad because of the whole
I will never get an erection again. No.
Oh, God. Yeah, but I think Paul Ryan, because I follow him on social media. I'm a big Paul Ryan guy. I think that he's smart, and I think that I like a lot of his policies. This was just one I think he was wrong on.
I've always liked Paul Ryan, and I said that, being the more liberal guy, you call me a liberal, you call me a Democrat. I still consider myself an independent.
Well, you voted for Hillary Clinton.
I did not. I voted for myself and my wiener. So, and I'm not the only person.
4 more years.
I'm not the only person that voted for myself and my wiener, which is interesting. But you can look it up. Probably in
it's a matter of public record.
Right. Yeah. Daffy Duck got 5,000 votes. Brandon and his dinger got at least 2. So here's the thing. But, I don't know. I just here's the other thing. Let me side tangent off onto Chuck Schumer, who we just touched on for a second. I've said it 1,000 times, and I will never change my mind on it. Democrats, you effed up by putting Chuck Schumer as the face of your party. Now, I get that, and maybe it's not just that it was Chuck Schumer. Maybe it's just the way that they're going. I feel like Democrats are.
They are the new Tea Party.
They're taking that Ted Cruz route where it's like, let's stop everything and read Dr. Seuss to Congress because that will accomplish a lot, and that's aggravating because even as somebody who doesn't agree with Donald Trump's agenda, I still want compromise. I still want the government to work. It needs to work. It has to work. So
yeah, and let's be honest. Donald Trump has done good things since he signing the bill for women's STEM courses, giving more money to people to seek help for being an addict in the bill proposal. He's signed good shit. He's done good things. Getting out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which everyone wanted us to get out of. He did that. He has done good things, but if you listen to, I subscribe to a lot of liberal publications now on social media. The Angry Liberal is my favorite because it's literally just the angry emoji from Facebook. And these guys are ridiculous, and they are those people that I had to deal with my side doing it. And so it's weird for me because now it's a flip. Before, I was just mad at my own side for doing it. Obama pledged allegiance with his left hand. He's a goddamn terrorist, and it was fake.
And I will tell you too, real quick before you finish that thought, that while Barack Obama was president, it was way easier for me to be mad at my side than it is now, because now more's at stake for my side than it was then. We were in power then, so it was easy to be like, well, shame on you, Barack Obama. But now, but anyway, so just to your point, but Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, but basically, I'm seeing this now where it's just there's so much lying, there's so much petty shit against Donald Trump, where it's like, can we not the Tea Party has basically fractured the Republican Party. And I think that in a sense now, because the Democrats are basically the Tea Party now, they're just the liberal Tea Party. But the main difference is they're unified. They're all like that now. They got Chuck Schumer, who's the leadership, who's the problem with Boehner is he wasn't a teabagger. So he was basically fighting this group inside of the Republicans the whole time.
Right.
Now, Chuck Schumer, who was not a liberal teabagger, has become a liberal teabagger.
Yeah.
And you've got Elizabeth Warren, who's a liberal teabagger. And everyone is just saying no. Like, I get it.
And Republicans
were
stupid. It's almost like they flipped. Like, Democrats became the Tea Party, and Republicans became the snowflakes that can't handle it when anybody talks bad about their guy who is an idiot and says stupid shit. So,
they got the people to spin doctors who are going to get upset whenever you call them out. If Donald Trump says something stupid, I'm for it. The problem is he doesn't say everything stupid. And if you listen to liberal outlets, every single thing he does is stupid to them.
You can't determine whether or not he says stupid shit because what he does is he makes you go find it. I'm going to say some ridiculous over here stuff, and it's for you to figure out if it's right or not. Well, that's bullshit, and that's that's beneath the presidency of the United States. I don't care who you are, Donald Trump or Barack Obama or JFK or Ronald Reagan. I don't care. That's beneath you. I don't have to go find shit. You shouldn't say crazy lies. They're lies. So,
that's true. He shouldn't lie. I don't buy into that whole "this is beneath the presidency of the United States" argument because the
because you have no standards.
Well, there is a standard. You got to be over 35 and you got to be elected. There you go. That's the standard.
That's a bullshit standard. So
that's our government. That's the way that it works. Otherwise, you have aristocracy, where you have a literal political class, where you say, "Well, this guy's more qualified, so he gets to win instead."
So change it. I'm willing to let the political.
So you want less democracy and more aristocracy?
Do we honestly?
That doesn't make any sense.
We don't have democracy now anyway. We
do.
If we were a true democracy, we would actually have a say. We wouldn't elect people to have a say for us who don't listen to us.
It's not a true
and
democracy.
Only worry about their own jobs. So, it's not a democracy anyway.
Well, I don't think that true democracy works in that fashion. I think that that there needs to be leadership, and that's what these guys should be doing. They should be leading, and that's what I think that the problem with Paul Ryan with this healthcare bill. Right. Yeah, that's fine. I think Paul Ryan, the problem is that he wasn't listening. Every day on social media, he would come out with the exact same talking point. Obamacare is failing under the weight of itself. And he would just go off on this. And in the comments, I'd be along with him. And I would be like, this is stupid. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And he just kept smiling.
We'll have the votes. Trust me. We'll have the votes.
I'll give you
didn't
that.
listen.
I'll give you that. And I think it is unfortunate, too, because I like Paul Ryan. Like, I've always liked Paul Ryan. I've always respected him as an intellectual. I think that he's a very smart guy. I think he's pretty good on economics, although I know when my liberal friends hear me say that, they will be really mad at me. Like, I'm already ready for the text. What did you say about Paul Ryan? He's smart.
He wants to kill Grandma.
But I think he is, and he's one of those. I don't know. I've always
there are no boogeymen, and that's the thing that I try to always convey in politics. There are no fucking boogeymen. Steve Bannon would probably be the closest I could think of as a boogeyman because
Michael Moore.
He does, like if Michael Moore gets into power or something.
The difference is Steve Bannon is in power.
Yeah. But the thing is that just because he wants to attack the establishment doesn't make him
and
evil.
Muslims and blacks and Native Americans.
And that's not true. That's not everything he's trying to do. There is a problem.
No, just check Breitbart.
Yeah. Breitbart as a news channel.
This is like your typical Republican. Like, I'm going to ignore the fact that it's a racist outlet and just write you off. Yeah. That's okay.
Because it's not.
It is a racist
outlet. It is not. Show it to me. Bring it up.
I will show it to you. I'll drop links.
Yeah, do it. Drop all the links you want and show me how it's racist. Because you won't be able to.
All right.
It's all going to be subjective.
Pretty sure Milo just got fired from there. So, it walks the line.
For saying that he liked being diddled by an older man.
Milo worked there. It walks the line.
Right. It's a little bit different than being a racist. So, like
being
I said,
Milo isn't that much different
news.
from being a racist.
Not even close to it. No.
Okay.
We've heard his arguments, and they're not racist arguments.
Not the ones about sexism. The other ones are.
What about Islamic faith and all of that?
About white culture being better than not white culture?
I still have not heard that. You keep referencing it, and you still haven't shown it to me.
I will.
So until you can actually show it to me, every time you bring it up, I'm going to say that's not true.
It'll be the soundbite that goes into the next segment.
Go. All right, that's fine. Everyone heard him say it, so if it's not there, it means you didn't find it.
I'm gonna doctor that shit. I need some Russians. Somebody get some Russians over here. I gotta doctor some shit.
Right. No, but I think that when it comes to these other areas, and that's the thing that I have a big problem with liberal mindsets, is for some reason they think that, because Milo is critical on the Islamic faith, and I think that that's important and that it's necessary. There's a lot wrong with the Islamic faith, just like there's a lot wrong with the Christian faith.
But he is critical of everything but white Christianity. That is
he's a Christian, and I don't like how he spins it for Christians, where he pretends like they're better, which they're not. Each religion has had.
He has gone so far as to say, which you will hear in a few minutes, that white culture is better than non-white culture, and he has also said that straight people are better than gay people, and he sucks wieners.
He did say that.
Like, that wasn't FCC.
But he would take the anti-gay pill, so it doesn't even matter. They just need to make that pill, and then he won't be gay anymore.
Right.
No, but I think that liberals need to come at it. For some reason, liberals have this ideology where if you say anything wrong against the Islamic faith, you're a racist. And it's not true. We're not saying that people from the Islamic faith...
how it's not just limited to, in Milo's case, how it's not limited to
Well, we're not... Yeah,
Islam.
but let's move on from Milo. We're talking about just the Islamic faith, and this is a fucked up religion, just like Christianity is a fucked up religion. If you read the Quran, half of that shit's about slavery. There's all these rules for slavery. It does say kill the infidels wherever you find them. So there's a lot wrong with it. Women do have to be covered up. They are treated more like property. They're segregated in their worship. These are things that are wrong with Islam. And I read a really good thing the other day from an Islamic man who said liberals need to back off. Christians had their Reformation, where there was a generation that stood up to Christianity that was being forced down their throats by their parents, and they reformed it. They were able to look at what was bad and get over it. We need to do that in Islam, and it's harder to do that when liberals keep saying you can't critique it in any way, shape, or form without being a racist, and it's not true. This is a religion that needs to be updated for the 21st century.
I think that all of that is fair. Like, I think all of that is fair.
That's what we're saying.
But I think you're factually incorrect when you say that all liberals, or when you lump all liberals, or the majority of liberals,
I would say the majority,
into people that by all means, no matter what the scenario, if you say anything against Islam, you're racist, and that's the mentality. That's wrong. Ask Bill Maher.
I would bet you well, Bill Maher got attacked too, because he's a liberal, and he attacks Islam as well, and says, hey, listen, this needs to be updated. There's a lot wrong here. And he gets a lot of shit.
I don't have a problem with attacking individual aspects of anything.
I'll say critique. We won't attack anything.
That's
critiquing it.
But I don't have a problem with people commenting or critiquing aspects of Islam or aspects of Christianity or aspects of Judaism. But I don't think you can lump the entire thing, because as you and I have read chapter 4 of the Quran, you know that for as much as that's in there about killing the infidel, there is also just as much about being peaceful and loving.
There's
and
much
accepting.
more.
Yeah, right. So
it's a ratio of like 4 out of 5% of that is all about forgiveness. The thing about when you read the Quran is it's not written like the Bible. It's a set of rules, and they don't make any fucking sense. They all contradict themselves. And so, like, I saw a thing the other day that a buddy of mine posted, and he's kind of a tinfoil hat wearing guy. And he was like, this is what happens in Islam. This is Sharia law. And it showed them burying a girl, tying her hands behind her back. They bury her in the sand. And then the husband accuses her of cheating, and they stone her to death. And it's fucked up. And that does happen. In the Quran, in chapter 4, look it up if you don't believe me or listen to it on YouTube. There are spoken versions. That's what I did coming home from work. I listened to the whole damn thing. And the Quran says that basically if your wife cheats on you, you can stone her to death and kill her. Unless she goes ahead and asks for forgiveness. Right. And then you let her be because Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. So there's a lot of contradictions there where apparently all you have to do is say that. Well, I'm sure they're saying that unless they're, just denying that it ever happened or whatnot. I mean, and then it goes into...
It's like the Bible in that sense where, the Bible contradicts itself all over the place. Christian Bible.
Burp.
So, I get it. You're right. Like, there are things. But my point simply on that is that there's a difference between critiquing aspects of something and critiquing the whole thing. Critiquing Islam and making a judgment on Islam or Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism.
But we do that.
What?
But we do that to Christianity. We do that. We judge it. And now in America, especially on the liberal side.
But I don't.
I'm just saying, I went to a Catholic school, and I'm friends with a lot of people, and a lot of them are atheists, and they look their nose down on Christianity, and if you say that you're a Christian, they will look at you different. They think that you believe in gobbledygook, and that it's all bullshit, and then apparently you can't say anything on Islam because that's beautiful and all about love, and it's not.
Yeah, well,
Muhammad personally beheaded 1,000 Jews, apparently. Jesus was a peace-living hippie. Like, they're not the same thing.
We can both agree that those self-righteous atheists, which I used to be one, but and I'm not anymore, because look, I'll put it out there. My religious beliefs, my spiritual beliefs are, I don't know. Guess what? I wasn't there 2,000 years ago when you wrote these damn stories, so I don't know. Could God be real? Absolutely. Could that story be complete BS? Absolutely. I'll find out when I die, and hopefully I live my life good enough while I'm alive that if he is I'm not fucked. But
if I stroll up and I see St. Peter, I'll be like, dude, listen,
look, my bad, man.
Everything was fucked.
Like, I masturbated a lot. So I'm just saying, like, cats probably died. But my palms didn't get hairy, so okay.
So we're running about 30 minutes here, so I'll wrap it up. We went on a little bit of a tangent here, which
totally
was a good tangent.
It was good.
into it. I liked it, going into a little bit of that. But basically, I think we're in agreement that both sides are bringing it back to healthcare and the Trumpcare bill.
Right.
I think it's smart for Trump to get off of this, move on. There's other things to do. And I think that both sides, regardless of who is in power, is going to get this wrong. And until I am convinced otherwise, I say leave it alone.
Yeah, here's what I'll say to those points you just mentioned. I think both sides are going to get this wrong. I think saying that I do think that when Mitch McConnell and when Republicans will now use as their talking point, neither side can do this all on their own. That's a cop-out. You fucked this up, and you own it now. And I think that I would halfway agree that it was probably good that Donald Trump got off of it, but I would say that there's another 50% of that which was probably bad, because guess what? It is his failure now, and you're gonna eat that because he failed it. He told you that it was.
The problem is, I just don't think that people know what they want, and that there's a huge swath of the Republican Party that wants to repeal, and that's not gonna fucking happen. You can't get rid of 7 million people.
It would be irresponsible to do that. So, like, you can't go back to how it was. So, I agree.
Thanks, Obama.
That they have to. Well, there's probably like 10 or 11 million people that actually are thanking Obama for that. I mean, watch a Republican town hall.
I would say
and watch that guy tell you,
that.
If you repeal this, I'm gonna die. That guy is actually.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think that there are people. I think that there are people like that.
That's the Republican response. I won't even put that on.
Not.
No, it's the Mitch response to anything that makes you uncomfortable. So
I think no, it's not. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I think that's the logical response. There's always going to be a few people that benefit from anything, and that's the burden of governance. Is you have to make these balance trade-offs. I think that of the 11 million people that have Obamacare, not as many people can use it because the premiums are so high.
I mean, yeah. I
so
think
you're not helping as many people as you think you are.
I think that's a fair point. I would like to know what the percentage of those, like I would like to see the percentage of people that actually.
It's probably out there.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure it is. But I would agree with you on that. And by no means will you ever hear Brandon Condit say that Obamacare has been the best thing that's ever happened. Now, what I will say is when it was being pitched, you remember this was way before this show, but I wanted to know what it was going to be like. I did support it before I knew what it was, and then it went into effect, and it was obvious that like this isn't sustainable. So like you'll never.
Well, the problem was that I didn't know what to think because Republicans were opposing everything.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know if this is actually as bad as they say it is because they're just saying everything's bad. And I think that other liberals are going to fall into where I was at, where everyone in their party is just saying everything Trump does is bad. And they're like, well, he just signed this, and I think that's pretty good. No, it's not. It's evil. Listen to Chuck Schumer. And, you're going to fall into that trap. So we got to work together. That's just the only way that we can get any of this done. But even if they work together on healthcare, I think they're going to get it wrong. I think both sides fundamentally is missing it.
Yeah, I mean, it totally comes down to the fact that you need insurance reform before healthcare reform. That'd be the best way to do it. Yeah, if you reform the way that insurance companies are able to operate, then that's a starting point in which I think you can. I don't think you can flourish from there, but I think that's the first stepping stone to actually solving a problem. So,
and then once we do that, I think that the liberals have the better mindset on how to go forward on this. So,
which is
that you're going to have to increase taxes on it. You're going to have to charge people money to do it because otherwise it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that Republicans are just wrong. You're just wrong.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I'll agree with you anytime you say Republicans are wrong. So no, that's not true. That's not true.
Although I'm right, so
I started the segment by being like, "You call me a liberal." But I think that's a good place to call it on healthcare. So we'll see where it goes from here. But it looks like it's going nowhere for right now, at least. So.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Alrighty.